Hi learners, my name is Mr. Carrington and I'm so glad you're here because I'm in desperate need of a tech detective. Are you ready for the challenge? Awesome! I have my detective gear here. Are you ready? Great, let's get started on today's case. I've been reading this interesting historical fiction text titled Dear Mr. Rosenwald, The School That Hope Built, written by Carol Boston Weatherford. It's a collection of short poems that come together to tell us a story. The title of each poem is at the top of each page. As experienced tech detectives, we know that as we read, we ask questions. Some may answer as we continue to read, while others may not. So as I've been reading, I've been jotting down some questions I have here in my case notes. Here's the thing, now I have to answer them, but I need your help. Would you be willing to help me? Excellent. I knew I could count on you. Today I'm going to share one of the questions that I have about a specific part of this text, and we are going to work together to find 3 specific details in the text that support our answer. These details will be our textual evidence. Remember, textual evidence is the information from the text that is explicitly stated. What does explicitly stated mean? That's correct. It means that evidence is written directly in the text. So we will be looking for details that are written directly in the text to support our answer. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. I'll catch you up by modeling on the case for what is needed. Here's what I have so far. Clue 1. This is our anchor chart that explains how we will organize our graphic organizer we need to solve the case. Alright, detectives, what we'll do first? That's right, we must write the question we will be investigating. What's our second step? Yes, we must find details in the text that help us answer the question. Then what? You've got it. We will use the words from the question in step 1 and the textual evidence in the text from step 2 to write an answer to our question. Sounds like you're ready for action. Let's take a look at clue 2, the text. This is what we will use to identify the needed textual evidence to answer our question. Today, we will just be focusing on a page of the book titled Passing the Plate. Since we don't have time to read the whole book today, remember that this book tells the story of a community that comes together to build a new school. One of the characters' names in the story is Obella. She is the one speaking in the part of the story we are going to read today. One of the questions I wrote down in my case notes was, why was the community able to raise the money needed for their new school? This is the question we need to answer today. So, as you read this question, keep in mind the question, why was the community able to raise money needed for the new school? Let's read the text together. Passing the plate. Homecoming Sunday, a church full. Uncle Bo didn't need to preach a sermon after going on about the new school. Said we're gathering money a nickel and dime at a time. The ushers passed the plate. Afterward, Uncle Bo waved envelopes white neighbors sent, $20 in all. Then the choir sang, "The Lord will make a way somehow." Just before the service ended, Miss Etta May asked to have a word. I was born a slave, worked hard even after freedom came. Never had time for book learning. Here's $1 from money I have been saving for my burial. Hurry and build that school so I can learn to read my Bible. Our final clue is clue 3. This is the graphic organizer that we must complete to crack the case. We are going to create a trifold with our paper so that we have 3 columns for our graphic organizer. See the 3 columns in the graphic organizer? In the first column, we are going to write our question. Why was the community able to raise the money needed for the new school? In the second column, we will record the textual evidence that we find in the text to support our answer. Finally, in the third column, let's write my answer. This is where we will record the final answer to our question, why was the community able to raise the money needed for the new school? Now, let's complete this graphic organizer together so we can crack the case. When I went back and reread I knew I needed to really focus on finding a detail in the text that talked about why the community was able to raise the money they need for the new school. I highlighted this in the text. Said, "We're gathering money a nickel at a dime at a time. The ushers passed the plate." When I saw this, I said, aha, this is a detail that supports my answer because it talks about gathering money and then about passing a plate. So, in my textual evidence column for detail 1, I wrote, "The ushers passed the plate." I know this because the text explicitly states that we were gathering money and the ushers passed the plate. So, what is detail 1? Great job! Now we have one detail that we can use to support our answer. But wait, we have 2 empty boxes. We need 2 more details from the text that we can use as textual evidence to answer the question, why was the community able to raise the money needed for the new school? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to find 2 more details from the text as textual evidence. I see a lot of thumbs up, so let's get started. A seasoned text detective like you knows this calls for a rereading. As I reread the text aloud, listen for 2 different details that we can use to answer our question. Passing the plate. Homecoming Sunday, a church full. Uncle Bo didn't need to preach a sermon after going on about the new school. Said, "We're gathering money a nickel and dime at a time." The ushers passed the plate. Afterward, Uncle Bo waved envelopes white neighbors sent, $20 in all. Then the choir sang, "The Lord will make a way somehow." Just before the service ended, Miss Etta May asked to have a word. I was born a slave, worked hard even after freedom came. Never had time for book learning. Here's $1 for money I have been saving for my burial. Hurry and build that school so I can learn to read my Bible. Take 20 seconds to identify 2 details that help us answer our question. Why was the community able to raise the money needed for their new school? Excellent job. I saw lots of minds thinking. That means you were busy locating your details. What 2 details did you find that describe why the community was able to raise money for their new school? Awesome. You're right. This detail helps to answer our question. What other detail did you identify that described why the community was able to raise the money they needed for their school? Some of you may have found this one. Uncle Bo waved envelopes white neighbors sent, $20 in all. If you did, let's write something like white neighbors sent and $20 in the textual evidence column. Some of you may have found this one. Here's $1 for money I have been saving for my burial. If you found this one, let's write something like Miss Etta May gave $1 or she gave $1 in our evidence column. Raise your hand if you were able to find both of those details as textual evidence for our graphic organizer. Great work, text detectives. Now the very last thing we have to do is put it all together and answer our question. Then we will have cracked the case. Remember our first clue? Let's take a look at it again. So to complete column 3, we will use the words from our question and the textual evidence we found from column 2 to write our answer. I'll help you determine the answer. Then you will finish it out. So the question is, why was the community able to raise the money needed for their new school? I'm going to use the words from the question to start our answer. The only thing I'm going to take away are the first 2 question words, why and was. So let's start our answer like this. The community raised money for the new school by. Now I need you to use our textual evidence to complete the rest of the answer. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to find your answer. Okay, text detectives, shout out what you've got. Amazing, you've cracked the case. I hear all of you say the community was able to raise the money needed for their new school because they passed the plate. White neighbors sent in $20 and Miss Etta May gave $1. You were able to use textual evidence. There's explicit details in the text to support your answer to answer a question about our text. High five, this case is closed. For an additional challenge, I invite you to look back at the text and see if you can come up with your own question and then use details from the text to answer the question. Remember, when you give your answer, be sure to use the words from the question. Be sure to join me next time for another literacy investigation. See you then.